Hi there, it's Leslie Denny, and thanks for joining me on my YouTube channel. We're doing something a little different today, so I hope you can stick with us, just kind of see what it's like. We're adding a chair class, and this one's going to be specialized to start with. I'm going to be adding more chair classes as we move forward, but this one is really geared towards anyone that is working the upper portion of their body, chest, shoulders, upper back, that area of the body, arms as well. And it's really what we want to think about is, say for instance, if you had any kind of injury, you want to always make sure that you've gotten the okay from your healthcare professional, whomever they are, that it's a go for you to be able to do this. Then even when you step into this practice, what you want to think about is to make sure that at no time you feel any restrictive pain, discomfort, because when you do, you want to dial back out of it. And if you are under the care of a healthcare professional, it's probably not a bad idea to let them see this and make sure that everything that we're doing fits in with the scope of what they're looking for you. So when we're working into a chair class like this one's going to be on the shorter side, and it's more what I would call exploratory. So make sure that you have a stable chair that's not going to slide out from underneath you. Believe me, it is something that needs to be said, because we don't realize sometimes that we've got slippery surface. So make sure you're nice and firm on the chair. And also your feet are flat to the ground. What this does is a couple of things. It actually helps you find support through the upper body, but it also relaxes the hip flexors on the front of your hips so that that's not a distraction to you. If your feet don't go all the way to the ground, use a block or a book and raise them up, and that will continue to relax those hip flexors so you're not struggling there. How far you sit away from the chair is all up to you. The farther back you sit into it for support may give you the low back support that you need. The farther out may be more comfortable for you, so long as you're not feeling that low back discomfort or anything throughout the neck. So go ahead and situate yourself comfortably. If you need some water, then grab that, because we're not going to be using any straps or any other types of props today. Remember, today is about exploration. So as you relax your hands towards your knees, just close your eyes and take a few breaths. And then as you're comfortable to do so, expand on that breath a little deeper. And as you're breathing perhaps a little deeper, kind of notice what you're feeling throughout your body, especially in this upper portion of your body. Is there anything that is going on that is disrupting your breath flow? If there is, softer breath. And in the beginning of our practices, we like to have an intention. We call this in Sanskrit a sankalpa. And it usually starts with the words I am. And there's a descriptive word where you want to be. So today for me, I'm going to use the intention of I am comfortable, because to me that's what's most important about this particular session. You might have something else that you want to focus on, so feel free to do that. And repeat that little phrase in your mind a few times while you're working with your breath. Good. Hopefully you're all settled in. So the first thing that we're going to do is what we would call Chakravakasana. It's a cat-cow flow. You're going to rest your hands on your knees, and then on the inhale, just relax, drop the chest up and out, and then exhale, round the upper back. Now, depending on where you're at, you may have what we call a very small range of motion because that's comfortable for you. For others, you may feel like you can really lift that chest out and up and round the upper back. So you want to work in the range that feels good to you. Nothing that's distracting. You're inhaling comfort, exhaling distraction. And just do that 2 or 3 more times. And then gently bring that back to neutral. At this point, if you want to play a little soft music or something that you like to listen to, feel free to go ahead and pop that on. I usually like to not play music because I don't know what you want to listen to. So we're going to do what we call a pendulum swing with the arm, but we're not going to really activate that swing. We're going to do it a few times on each side. So when you rest over to the side, just let that arm dangle. And like what you can see with mine, it's moving a little bit, but I'm not making it move. I'm just letting it hang and get relaxed through the shoulder. And then lift up and release it to the other side. Just hang it. This is not my normal location that I do my videos. I'm usually in my studio. You are in my personal she shed right now. This is my own little enclave that is my peace space that I go to. So I've allowed you into this little area and I'm so glad you're here. And then release and we'll switch it to the other side. Now if you want to activate a little bit more motion, but still see I'm circling it around, you might feel better moving the arm forward and back or side to side, whichever direction that feels comfortable for you. But I'm not really forcing it to happen. I'm just giving a little bit of momentum for my upper body. I am not engaging any musculature right here. Just relaxing and opening up through that shoulder. And then release and switch it to the other side. And again, I'm just letting it kind of dangle and move around nice and comfortably. And there is no perfect with this. The only essential is that it is not painful or discomforting to you in any way. That's what's important. Good. Then release from there, and we're going to do it one more time to each side. So as you relax, and I know that if you're like looking for all the bells and whistles of a really hot yoga class, this is mellow, low-key, and easy. That's what we're looking for today. And it won't take long out of your schedule. And then release over to the other side. I'm going to talk about a few things at the end of our session together, just to give you something to think about as you walk away from your practice today. Good. Then go ahead and rest the hands back onto your legs. Check in, kind of see how you're feeling. And then with the next inhale, lift the chest and exhale, round the back and arch it up. And notice if you actually feel a little more movement that is comfortable to you. You might not, but you might. I know that once I do that particular flow, for me, I start to open up in my chest a little bit more. And what we're doing is, what I like to call it is we're creating space in our body. Good. and then bring it back to neutral. So the next thing that we're going to do is side stretches. Very basic, but it's important to create space in your body so that everything else can start moving. So we're going to stretch the intercostal muscles. Those are the little muscles that are in between your ribs on the sides of your body and throughout front to back. But we're going to worry about the lateral sides, just this side. So I'm keeping my shoulders nice and relaxed, and I'm just leaning up and over. I'm crunching into the interior side, but I'm stretching right here. And then lift back up. And then slowly rock over to the other side. And notice that I'm not lifting up my hip. And I'm very much keeping my abdominals engaged so that my low back doesn't bother me. If my low back started to bother me, I just slide to the back part of the chair so that I have support. And be careful. I don't want you falling out of your chair because I can't jump through the screen and scoop you up off the floor. We're going to do this 2 more times on each side. Don't get dizzy. Good. And just stretch. And this time, really think about lengthening through that side body. And then bringing it back up. Lengthening through the opposite side of your body. Now, if you have any issues around the collarbone area, this might feel a little uncomfortable. And that might mean that you're doing something with that opposite shoulder. So try to keep it neutral. And if it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Good. And then bring that back to neutral once again. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round the back and arch it up. So from doing that, for me, I opened up a little more space because I was pretty tight today. And this does feel good to me. Sometimes simple rules. Good. And then bring that back to neutral. Okay, now we're going to inject a little bit of arm motion. So this is the one that you really want to watch out for because especially with shoulders, upper body, sometimes when we start to inject the arms in, it can feel uncomfortable. So pay attention. If something doesn't feel good, don't do it. So we're just going to draw the arms out like so and bring them out to the side and then bring them back in. So how far you move those arms apart and back in depends on a couple of things. When you open the arms up, just try to make sure that the back of your neck doesn't bother you and the lower back feels comfortable. And then as you bring them in, you might feel quite a stretch across that upper back. So we're creating space again. How high you have the elbows, strictly up to you because you want to feel comfortable. There should be nothing painful or uncomfortable about this process. It should all feel really, actually soft movements, good, doable. And inhale to open, and exhale to close. Then go ahead and release the hands to the mat, move back to cat-cow flow. So you see, this cat-cow flow that we're doing is actually our baseline that we keep coming back to. And it's just that movement you might find gets more and more comfortable, hopefully, as you're doing these other additional movements that we're adding. So we're going to interchange those little goalpost arms, I guess I could call them, opening and closing. And we're going to interchange that with what we lovingly call empty the can, or empty the canasana if you're looking for a yoga name. Okay. Draw the arms out at whatever height is comfortable for you. And just imagine you're holding 2 cans, 1 can in each hand. And if this feels better, the arms down low, that's great. You don't want to go any higher than shoulder height. So you don't want to be up here. You want to be no higher than this, but you may be down here and that's fine. So you're going to empty the can. Just pour the cans forward and then open them back up. Notice that I am not rotating the can back to empty it behind me. I'm just emptying it from neutral position forward. And I'm going to do that a few more times. You get to that point where it's like, hey, Leslie, I just don't want to do this anymore. Then don't. You want to do what feels good to you. And I can't tell you what feels good to you. You're the only one that knows. Good. And just 2 more times if that works for you. If it doesn't, just dial it back. Good. And then release the hands and cat-cow flow. Exhale to round the back. Inhale to lift. Exhale to round the back. Then 1 more flow. Good. And then bring it back to neutral. Back to these goalpost arms. And what you're going to do is this time draw those elbows down and back and lift up. And again, we're not going any higher just yet. You may not be able to go any higher than that. We're just warming it up. But I want you to feel that contraction in the upper back, because that is a musculature that really helps support your upper body. Primarily, if you were talking about muscles, latissimus dorsi, rhomboid muscles are really the 2 biggies that are going to work here. Good. And then 1 more flow from there. And then relax the hands and inhale, lift. Exhale, round it out. So for me right now, I'm feeling, just a little bit of awareness. I'll call it awareness in my upper back. But I'm not sore, and I'm certainly not in pain. So if you're feeling aware of your upper back muscles, that's great. Don't worry about going any farther than that. And then bring it back to neutral. Empty your cans. Bring it out. Hold the cans straight up, and then empty it forward. Good. From here, notice if you're starting to get a little bit more rotation and range as you're emptying those cans. Good. This is great arm work too, because no matter, even if you're in recovery from something, or if you're just trying to build up, you want to try to build up strong arms. Yeah, they help that upper body so much by being stronger. So just 1 more time from here, less if it's too much. And then hands to the lap again, cat-cow flow. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. It's real simple. Now we're going to try to increase the range on the next round of those goalpost arms. And you're working in the range that feels best for you. So if it's difficult for you to get those arms up and overhead, don't go there. Remember, you're in control of this practice. You know what you can do. I do not. Then bring the back to neutral. Draw the arms out to the side. Inhale, lift them up just as high as you can. Exhale, lower, and bring those elbows back. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling down and to the back. Good. Check in. See if the intention, remember your sankalpa from the beginning, does it still fit in with what you're doing right now? Or did you just kind of blow this and say, no, I'm really fighting to try to make this happen, but it hurts so bad. Don't do that. Good. And then release, hands to the lap, inhale, lift the chest, exhale, round the back. Get some water, towel it off if you need to, because believe me, so many people will pop a sweat, especially when we're not using the lower part of our body to offset movement. It's a little more than just chair yoga. It actually is work to do this for many. Good. Now the next thing I want you to do is grab the sides of your chair, maybe a little farther back if that's good for you. And then just squeeze those shoulder blades together and lift the chest up. Just tilt the head back ever so slightly. And just breathe. And then bring the back into that neutral position. And we're just going to try to draw one arm across the chest and stretch. We're stretching into the shoulder. How high you lift that arm is up to your comfort level. How close it comes into your body is up to your range of motion, what you're able to do. And then release it to the other side. Just bring it across, close your eyes, lift and lower. Good. And one more little flow here. Should be very gentle. You want to be gentle with yourself. And release it. Cat-cow flow. You guessed it, right? Inhale, lift. Exhale, round the back. Good. And then bring it back to neutral. Now this next one, as you can feel, some of this movement is building in a little bit more intensity. And so I'll talk about why that is towards the end. If you feel like the intensity is too great, then drop out. Just give yourself some recovery, because I think we underestimate how much recovery we all need in life. The arms are reaching out straight out in front of you. And while you're doing that, you're going to try to just draw those arms out as wide as you are comfortable taking them. So if you're not comfortable taking them all the way out to the sides, that's fine. Just take them to where you can halt and hold right there. Just breathe. Then slowly draw them back in. Good. And then release the hands down. Take a couple breaths. We're going to do 2 more rounds of that. And if that feels like you just push the envelope with that, then fine. I always like to reassure people, because sometimes we feel like, I have to push myself more and more. No, you don't. Life will push you enough. All right, ready? Bring those arms up. And then slowly bring them out to the side to the point that you can hold. And just keep holding on, if you can. And then slowly draw them back in towards each other. Good. And then release. Take a breath. And your choice. We'll do that one more time if you like. Reach them up. And then draw them out to the side. Hold where you can. Whatever space apart that is, just hold it right there if you can. Otherwise, drop out. Good. And then slowly start to bring them back towards each other. Good. And then release. Cat-cow flow. Good. Bring them back to neutral. Now we're going to do a few stretches throughout the front of the throat. When we're tight throughout the chest, collarbone areas, up through the shoulders, then the neck muscles right here get really tight as well. There is a more progressive way to do this stretch, but we're going to do it really light. And all it is you're going to lift the chin, then push the chin out, and then turn the head in one direction. It's hard to talk like this. And just, you'll feel that nice big long stretch going right through the throat. And then slowly release it. Back to neutral, take a breath. And then as you lift, chin out and go to the other direction and just feel the stretch on the opposite side of the throat. And then slowly release. Good. Go ahead and drop the chin to the chest. And then roll one ear towards the shoulder. My left ear is pointed towards my left shoulder, so I'm going to reach that right arm out. And that creates a very big trapezius stretch right here at the top of the shoulders. And then release from there, chin to chest, roll that head to the opposite direction, and then extend the opposite arm out. Check in. And then gently release. Just roll yourself up back to that upright seated posture. Do another round of cat-cow flow, and this time I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see me. Now as I turn to the side, as I inhale, I'm lifting the chest out and up. Exhale, rounding the back. Good. And then come back to your neutral spine. So I'm going to swing back around. Now we're going to go into a spinal twist. So we're going to keep it basic. Just go ahead and take one hand to the opposite knee and rotate. You can hold on to the back of your chair if that's comfortable for you, but if you're super tight across the chest, that might feel not so good. So whatever is going to work for you, just give yourself that nice even twist and breathe into the midsection of your body. It's like it's tightened up, so really expel some breath into there because it's so good for your digestive system too. And then release and switch it to the opposite side. Always remember that one side may be tighter than the other. And then release from there. Good. Now hinge forward. Just drop those arms. And then slowly roll up. And then do that again. Drop it forward. Relax the arms to hang. And then round the back up on the inhale. And then one more time. Then relax the hands. Chin up, chin out, and rotate so that you feel that stretch run into that throat. And then gently release and move to the opposite side. Chin up and out, and to the opposite side. And then bring it back to neutral, cat-cow flow. Good. Then bring the back to neutral and slide back into your chair. Just relax your body and close your eyes for just a few minutes. And in this check-in time, it's easy to get distracted by so many things. Just try to bring it back to center. Be in the moment. Listen to the sound of your breath and just give yourself these few moments before we end this little short practice today. And just take a deep inhale and sigh it out. And do that one more time. Good. So it's a short practice, but the idea is exploration and discovery. So just kind of think about how you feel now, and then after you've finished the practice for a few hours later, and then into the next day. How does it feel? You don't want to feel any pain at all. You just want to feel like things are starting to open up a little bit. The next practice that we'll be doing will be a little bit longer, but it will incorporate a lot of these same movements because we're still going to continue to focus on the upper body quite a bit. So I hope you enjoyed today's practice. I hope it was meaningful to you. Do it again if you'd like, and just see how you feel. Thanks for coming, and if you like the channel, be sure to subscribe. I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Bye-bye now.